The first two acts of the evening turned out to not be to my liking at all. The performance artists had been downright boring. In New York, I had once seen a performance artist stab himself in the thigh as part of the performance, so after that, nothing else seemed even remotely daring. And the band after them had been a rather poor imitation of one of my least favorite groups. Wait, if they were poor imitators of that group, then that means I should like them, right? No, that doesn't work. I really didn't like them. However, the final act of the evening, we are endeavoring to make the name of this band the longest name of any band that has yet given voice to a tune on the face of this earth, so help me God, amen, turned out to be pretty good. From the flippant moniker, I had expected a group of lightweights, a party time band, but what I encountered was a trio of serious and passionate performers. So you're going to put them in the article then, right? Asked Samantha as we sat at a table waiting for Mr. Ketchum to show up for his 2:30 a.m. chauffeur duties. Steve, the non-bartender, had already vacated the premises and the place was empty. The odd quietness reminded me that it was slipping out of that mystical dimension of nightclub and morphing back into simply a dingy, black-walled room. They would be perfect for the article, Samantha continued. Of course, their name would take up half of the article right there, which is another reason to write a book, to fit in more stuff like that. And Ian, the lead singer, is actually a really nice guy. He's a delivery guy over at Hunter John's Pizza, and he's always so sweet when he brings those pizzas around that the dormitory girls are all in love with him. But I hear that he is 100% faithful to his girlfriend. Isn't that great? Well, it's not exactly rock and roll now, is it? No, but it's nice, she said. If you want, I'll set up an interview for you. I shifted uncomfortably in my seat. I figured that this was the time to go ahead and do it. Well, actually, I said, I'm headed back to New York tomorrow, so not sure I'll have a chance. Tomorrow? Already you're headed back? You don't want to schedule a little time to interview the best band you've seen in a long, long time? I don't think I said that exactly. Yes, you did. No, I don't think... Look, I'm on a flight tomorrow. And, oh, they set up a cab ride for me out to the airport, so your dad doesn't need to bother. Samantha fixed me with a concentrated stare. You know, some people are able to do that. Look right into you and hold you there. It's quite unnerving, actually. What exactly is going on? She asked. Going on? Going on. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Yeah, you do. But okay, I'll say it anyway. You came here to write an article, but the entire time you don't seem like someone who's here to write an article. I don't even think I've seen you take a single note. I stammered, I've been at this a long time. I can keep things in my head. And now you're leaving after just a few days. And then she point blanked it. Are you here to write an article or aren't you? I shifted again in my seat. Samantha seemed to sense my distress, so she paused for a moment. She took a long breath, and then she changed her tone as she reached across the table and placed her hand lightly atop mine. Tell me, she said quietly, tell me why you said you were being punished to come here. Tell me just what the hell is going on. Well, I began, the last straw was the thing that happened at the White House, but that's not really it. The White House. Yeah, but that's not really it. I got in trouble at the White House, which I guess is kind of a bad thing, but like I said, it was more like the last straw. The White House. The real problem is that I'm in a young person's business and I'm getting old. I've always been kind of out of control, which is acceptable in my line of work, but now that I'm getting older, recklessness is looked at differently. It's seen as kind of pathetic. The newer guard has wanted me gone for a while now, and then I really screw up, and it gives them something. The freaking White House? Yeah, I sort of caused an international incident, but like I say, that was more of a last straw kind of thing, not the real issue. The real issue... Wait, she interrupted. You can't just say White House and roll on to being old. Go back. What the hell happened at the White House? Well, first off, the weird thing is that I took this assignment specifically because I was trying to be good. It was this boring-ass sounding gig, and second of all, no one, including me, knew that it was going to be at the White House. It doesn't matter. She fixed me with a gaze and said, "Continue this story or I break your legs." Okay, well, it was on one of those diplomatic things that they do every day in Washington. It was this little get-together for this teenage pop star from one of those countries that we're technically allies with, but where things are kind of tense. Boring assignment. But it turns out that there was some bigger thing going on with our president and theirs, so they moved this whole shindig to the White House. And everybody who was anybody was there. Wow. No, not really. I didn't want to do it. I should have switched with someone else when I found out, but I'd been on such thin ice, I figured I'd just do the crap assignment, then go home and try to be a good boy for the rest of my contract. And then, this stupid little pop star came to me and told me how incredibly nervous he was and asked if I could get him something to calm his nerves. Now, the only something they have there is alcohol. Wait, they have booze at the White House? Of course. What do you think they give those visiting dignitaries? Soda pop? Anyway, I gave him some of my scotch. And then a little more. And long story short, the kid went on stage obviously drunk. Somebody figured out that I was the one who gave it to him, and I was, as they say, detained. So, basically an international incident. Oh, yeah, my bosses considered that a fairly sizable screw-up. You know, getting a call from the Secret Service is kind of like getting a call from your kid's principal, but multiplied by about 1,000. Anyway, I haven't had a writing assignment since then. Samantha just stared at me. Then she walked over to the bar, reached behind, and pulled out a bottle of something, poured a glass, then walked back over to where I was and handed it to me. "Why don't you quit?" she asked. "There's a lot of other music magazines. And which one of them would hire an almost 50-year-old screw-up?" But I couldn't try anyway because I have 2 years left on my contract, and it was made very clear to me that if I breached that contract, I would be sued to the last penny. So they've kept me around and made me do... hell, they made me edit the classifieds. I'm being made an example of. But what am I going to do? I mean, where am I going to go? At my age, I've just been trying to keep my head down until the powers that be decide to forgive me. Samantha looked down at my drink, then back at me. So how does Terre Haute figure into all this? Terre Haute figures into this because they wanted you off of their backs without the possible bad publicity that would accompany a restraining order. The plan boils down to this. Send somebody to talk to her, pretend there's a story, never print the story. That's basically it. If she keeps calling, say that the writer wrote an unusable story and that he's a screw-up who hasn't written a usable story in a long time, and if she has a problem, she should bug the writer, not the magazine. Then hope she gives up and fades away. If she doesn't fade away, then the restraining order is still an option down the road, but let's try this first. Samantha's gaze hardened on me, and I deserved it. After the attachment I had begun to feel to her and to this city, I now felt like a traitor. I believed that I now knew what a police informant must feel like when he's on the witness stand and has to look into the eyes of the friend he was selling out in order to win a lighter sentence for himself. After what seemed an eternity to me, Samantha spoke. "So what's in it for you?" she asked. "I get to be junior editor." Obviously, that's a job for someone junior, but it could lead to me being an actual editor. And I've got nowhere else to go. I mean, I'm damn near broke. The thought of being out on the street didn't bother me when I was a kid, but now it scares the hell out of me. So I come here and play pretend with you, then I get an early release from the classifieds and the hope of maybe having a continuing career. "I see," said Samantha. Those were the last words she said to me that night.
If you see my friends, said if you see my friends, if you see them in that place where I'll never go, say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. I've heard that the judgment for sinners is harsh, and I've heard that not believing is the least forgivable of sins. And I'm sure there's a comfort that comes from believing, and the thought of death without it brings no comfort at all. But I've pondered this subject enough for 10 lifetimes, and you have to believe me when I say I believe it if I could. So say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. And I've known good people who should now be in heaven, if there really is such a place. Oh, well, maybe there is, and maybe there isn't. But either way, I do not think I'll ever see them again. So say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. But it's lonely here. This world full of people seems empty pretty much, because I got a short lease, a limited tenancy, nowhere to go when they kick me out the door. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. I'll say hello for me. You know, it really doesn't matter what I believe, you believe, he believes, they believe, 'cause there's only one truth. Just can't be sure what it is, so say hello for me. Say hello for me. Say hello for me. Oh, say hello for me. If you see my friend, said if you see my friends, if you see them in that place where I'll never go, say hello for me.